So I picked up a whole bunch of these laptops from work because my boss wants to sell them, and I had to make some eBay listings for them. And initially, I had thought that we were just selling some of the older laptops, and I thought the ones that I picked up, I gathered all I could find at the shop. But anyway, so we've got this HP EliteBook 8570p, and we have four of these, and then also I think it was a 8560p. Yeah, that's I think an older model, and it has a i5 processor in it, but this one has an i7 third gen, the the i7 3540M, and I found out that they're extremely slow. I'm just going to demonstrate here. I'm going to turn it on and let it boot to Windows. Now, one of the things about the laptop is the bottom panel is really easy to open up. There's no screws or anything like that. It's an aluminum plate, and it has a sliding locking switch mechanism that you can use. And basically, I had initially thought that we were keeping this, so I went to Micro Center and bought a whole bunch of these really cheap SSDs. So it's an Inland brand, INLAND, professional solid state drive, sequential read and write is 52410, IOPS is 38K, 80K write. I got this for $20 each, and I was gonna put them in 4 of these laptops. So it's not actually all that slow. Right now it's running a 500 gigabyte hard disk drive at 7200 RPM, which isn't bad, but it's not great. I mean, restarting a system shouldn't take this long. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I'm just unsatisfied with its current performance, even though it is an i7, which is fairly decent. My daily driver laptop uses an i7 4th gen with a SATA M.2 SSD, but it's like twice as fast as this. I mean, it's not a fantastic laptop, but it's not bad neither. But you can see how long it takes to restart, shut down, boot into Windows and whatnot. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to install this SSD real quick to demonstrate how much faster it is. I'll put this back on the tripod. Still loading. My general rule of thumb is to actually just shut down the computer, let it actually shut down. Wait another few minutes for it to turn off. There it goes. Flip it over. This particular laptop has a hard drive caddy right here. So I'll have to unscrew that. These are supposed to be captive screws, but I don't know. One of them just doesn't want to stay in. There it is. HGST. 500 gigabytes, 7200 RPM. You can see that right there. It's not even using SATA 3 6 gigabit. It's only using SATA 2 3 gigabit. I'm not going to bother switching the SSD into the caddy itself. I'm just going to shove the SSD in. Another good thing about SSDs is they're not prone to failure due to dropping or vibration issues or anything like that. If you drop a hard drive hard enough, the head on it actually may bend, and then the drive may completely fail. All right, so I had already pre-installed Windows on this machine with the SSD, but that was when I thought we were keeping them. I think I have to turn on UEFI. UEFI. And also, I believe on this particular model, the RAM is dual channel, but it has to be, the RAM sticks have to be the same capacity each, and they have to use the same speed, or it'll probably run at the lower speed of the same size. At least that's what the website says. So I'm assuming this system is actually running single channel RAM, which is in theory half the speed of what it's capable of. All right, it is loading. Okay, let me do a reboot just so you can see how much quicker it is. Already shut down. Back to the BIOS. Login screen. And then there's the desktop. One of the key issues that we had with these older model laptops was how long it took to load certain programs like PowerPoint. But with an SSD, it's almost instantaneous. Everything is pretty quick and snappy. Well, that's pretty much the demonstration. I just wanted to show how much of an improvement you can have even using a cheap $20 SSD for your laptop. The only downside is 120 gigabytes doesn't store that much information, but in generally for these particular laptops, my job would only be to play a presentation on a projector or, you know, a slideshow, keynote, stuff like that. Or if necessary, then we can play like a random 1080p video for the client or something like that. But with this SSD upgrade, it makes everything a lot quicker, and for the most part, we don't store very much information on the drive on the laptop itself. Oftentimes, a client will bring a USB stick with all the necessary files, and even if it is a large video file that's maybe 3, 4, or 5 gigs large, which is typically usually probably a 4K video, it just wouldn't be very typical if it was that many gigs. Usually a video file that runs for about 3 minutes will probably only take up, I don't know, 300 megabytes or 500 megabytes, which is fairly small compared to a 120 gigabyte SSD. And we could always delete the files afterwards when we're done. But anyway, yeah, that's all I wanted to show. I don't know. Everything works a lot better now. Thank you for watching. Leave any questions or comments below in the comment section. Like, subscribe, you know, all that nonsense. Have a good evening.